Tales of Tomorrow, where the future of storytelling comes to life. Welcome to Tales of Tomorrow, where we explore stories from the future. In this episode, we bring you a spine-chilling tale of dark magic and forbidden knowledge. Our protagonist, Alex, stumbles upon an ancient book that holds unimaginable power. But at what cost? Let's dive into the story of the Forbidden Book. The abandoned library was dark and quiet, the only sound coming from Alex's footsteps as he explored the empty shelves. The building had been left to rot after the city had built a newer, larger library a few blocks away. But Alex had always been drawn to abandoned places, and he couldn't resist the urge to explore. As he made his way deeper into the basement, he stumbled upon a hidden room. The door was slightly ajar, and a faint light was coming from within. Alex pushed the door open and stepped inside, his eyes widening as he saw what lay before him. The room was filled with old books, some of them dating back hundreds of years. The shelves were lined with leather-bound tomes, and the air was thick with the smell of dust and decay. But one book in particular caught Alex's eye. It was bound in black leather, with silver runes etched into the cover. There was an ominous energy surrounding it, and Alex couldn't resist the temptation to pick it up. As Alex flipped through the pages of the book, he felt a strange power coursing through his veins. The pages were filled with spells, incantations, and dark magic. It was unlike anything he had ever seen before, and he knew he had stumbled upon something truly extraordinary. The more he read, the more as the years went by, Alex slowly learned to harness his powers, gaining control over the abilities that had once threatened to consume him. He became a skilled sorcerer, using his magic to help others and fight against the darkness that still lurked in the shadows. But he could never fully escape the mark that the Forbidden Book had left on him. The darkness that had once threatened to consume him now lived within him, a constant reminder of the power that had forever changed his life. And so Alex continued his journey, seeking knowledge and understanding, always wary of the darkness that lay dormant within him. For he knew that with great power comes great responsibility, and he was determined to use his abilities for good, fighting against the darkness that had once nearly destroyed him. Years had passed since the destruction of the Forbidden Book, and Alex had grown into a skilled and respected sorcerer. He had learned to control his powers and use them for good, but he could never forget the darkness that still lingered within him. One day, while Alex was deep in study at his secluded home, he received an urgent message from an old friend, a fellow sorcerer named Elena. She had uncovered a dark plot, one that threatened not only the magical world, but the entire human race. Elena's message was brief but clear. A powerful artifact known as the Obsidian Orb had been discovered, and it held the potential to unleash untold destruction upon the world. It was rumored that the orb had the ability to amplify dark magic, and in the wrong hands, it could bring about the end of everything they knew. Knowing that they could not face this threat alone, Alex and Elena gathered a group of skilled sorcerers, each with unique abilities and expertise. They knew that they would need all the help they could get to face the dangers that lay ahead. The group came together in a secret location, hidden from the prying eyes of the outside world. They spent days strategizing, sharing their knowledge, and preparing for the battle that was to come. Each member of the group understood the gravity of the situation, and they were determined to do everything in their power to stop the impending catastrophe. The group set out on a perilous journey to locate the Obsidian Orb, traveling through treacherous lands and facing numerous obstacles along the way. They encountered dark creatures, traps set by the forces of evil, and even betrayal from within their own ranks. But they pressed on, fueled by their determination to save the world from the darkness that threatened to consume it. With each challenge they faced, they grew stronger and more united, becoming a formidable force against the evils that stood in their way. After weeks of searching, the group finally discovered the location of the Obsidian Orb. It was hidden deep within a cursed temple, protected by powerful enchantments and guarded by a host of demonic creatures. As they fought their way through the temple, the group was tested to their limits. They had to rely on their wits, their skills, and most importantly, their trust in one another. Finally, they reached the chamber where the obsidian orb was kept. The air was thick with dark energy, and the orb itself seemed to pulse with malevolent power. They knew that they had to act quickly, for the forces of evil were closing in. As the group prepared to secure the obsidian orb, the chamber's entrance suddenly slammed shut, and a chilling laugh echoed through the room. From the shadows emerged a dark sorcerer named Malakar, who had been seeking the orb to amplify his own twisted powers. Malakar taunted the group, telling them that their efforts were futile and that the world was destined to fall into darkness. He revealed that he had been manipulating events from behind the scenes, orchestrating the discovery of the orb, and even infiltrating their ranks with a traitorous ally. The group braced themselves for the battle that was about to unfold, knowing that their actions would determine the fate of the world. Alex, in particular, felt the weight of his past mistakes bearing down upon him, and he was determined to prove that he could overcome the darkness within him and use his powers for good. The battle between the group of sorcerers and Malakar was intense and chaotic. Spells were cast, and the very air crackled with magical energy. Each member of the group fought valiantly, using their unique skills and abilities to counter. As the battle raged on, Alex found himself face to face with Malakar, their powers clashing in a struggle for control over the obsidian orb. Alex could feel the darkness within him surging, eager to be unleashed. But he refused to give in, remembering the lessons he had learned and the friends who stood by his side. In a decisive moment, Alex managed to wrest control of the orb from Malakar. He could feel the dark power of the artifact, and he knew that he had to resist the temptation to use it for his own purposes. Instead, he called upon the strength of his allies, and together they unleashed a combined spell that weakened Malakar's defenses. With the dark sorcerer weakened, the group pressed their advantage, fighting with renewed vigor and determination. They pushed Malakar back, cornering him in the chamber and forcing him to confront the reality of his impending defeat. As Malakar's strength waned, he realized that he could not win against the combined powers of the group. In a final act of desperation, he attempted to destroy the obsidian orb, hoping to take them all down with him in the ensuing explosion. But Alex, drawing upon the strength of his friends and his own inner resolve, managed to contain the blast and redirect the energy back toward Malakar. The dark sorcerer was consumed by the explosion, his body disintegrating into nothingness. The group stood in the now silent chamber, the threat of the obsidian orb neutralized and the forces of darkness vanquished. The world was safe once again, thanks to their efforts and their unwavering commitment to fighting against evil. In the days following their victory, the group worked tirelessly to secure the obsidian orb and ensure that it could never again be used for evil purposes. They decided to divide its power amongst themselves, trusting that each member would use their share of the power responsibly and for the greater good. With the orb's power safely dispersed, the group disbanded, each member returning to their own corner of the world to continue their lives and use their abilities for the betterment of all. Alex, however, found himself at a crossroads. He had come a long way since discovering the Forbidden Book and had learned much about the magical world and himself. He knew that the darkness within him was still present, but he also knew that he had the strength to resist its temptations. Inspired by his experiences and determined to help others who might face similar challenges, Alex decided to dedicate his life to teaching and mentoring young sorcerers. He established a school of magic in a remote location where he could pass on his knowledge and wisdom to the next generation. The school soon gained a reputation for excellence, attracting students from all over the world. Alex took great pride in his students' progress, helping them develop their skills while instilling in them the importance of using their powers responsibly and for the betterment of society. As the years passed, Alex's school produced many talented and skilled sorcerers who went on to do great things in the world. They fought against the forces of darkness, protected the innocent, and sought to make the world a better place. Alex continued to teach and guide his students, never forgetting the lessons he had learned from his own experiences. His legacy lived on through the generations, inspiring countless others to follow in his footsteps and use their powers for good. In the end, The darkness that had once threatened to consume Alex had been turned into a force for good, a testament to the strength of the human spirit and the power of redemption. And that was the story of The Forbidden Book, a tale of dark magic, power, and the consequences that come with it. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button to stay tuned for more stories from Tales of Tomorrow.